GM. It's Monday where you are. I'm here with Chris, and we got stuff to talk about today. So I guess let's get started.
Iron twisted, looked around, fisted mouth, red teeth, no one here, just ancient
Red
and we
teeth.
know.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about, in fact. Satan. It's Satanism. There's some drama going on. But first, how are you doing? What's up?
Not much, man. We're just it's here for the show. So yeah, we had a really good stream yesterday with Machine Lies and TCPS, and yeah, so looking forward to talking about this stuff that you're telling me about earlier. So let's get into it.
Okay. And if anybody wants to hop on. Oh, by the way, I have the men's group tonight at 6 p.m. Central. If you want to join us, just email me. And I have an appointment tomorrow. We were going to do True Detective. So are you available Wednesday, like 7 o'clock-ish
Sure.
your time? 7 to 9 maybe.
And I'll continue to be openly available until something, and I'll let you know if it changes.
Okay.
I have no schedule ready.
Okay, well then we'll do True Detective on Wednesday
Okay.
at 7 p.m. Central. If you want to join us for that, email me too, and we'll do the first 2 episodes probably. Okay, yeah, let me get to Twitter. There's some drama happening. The Atlantic just did an article on Satanic Temple is woke, but even the Satanic Temple is starting to split over the gender and transgender issue. And I've seen this pattern in every single community I've been part of. I've talked about it before. You saw it with Elevator Gate, Gamergate. I've seen it in the autism community, the Satanist community, the mental health community, the gay community with the LGBT versus queer and trans. You have wokeness comes in, and for some reason it always takes the form of feminism or a female or some female issue that splits the group, and then half the group will kind of circle around the female and white knight, the female side of the issue, and then the other half of the group will want to maintain the traditional values, which turn out to be the more masculine or male values that the group was founded on, and it splits the group. So it seems very difficult for groups with extreme female, I'm using that word generally, like archetypally female or psychologically female needs and values to coexist with groups that have more male or masculine archetypal needs and values. And so something's going on with the Satanic Temple right now. I haven't, it's behind a paywall, so I can't really see the article, but there's a few tweets on it that I want to take a look at, and we can start from there.
Definitely.
Oh, I wanted this is separate, but I wanted to show this too. This is same-sex marriage support by religious affiliation for people that are still living in the 1980s. 87% white mainline Protestant. That's like your Presbyterians, Methodists, etc. 77% in favor of Catholic. Three quarters in favor of gay marriage. Protestant. Look at these numbers. These are religious people. The lowest is Jehovah's Witness. I'm surprised it's even 19%. The evangelicals, almost 40% in favor of same-sex marriage. So if you can't see that the trend has changed, Republican support was at 55% until the trans issue started. And we had 49 Republicans or 51 Republicans help pass the
Respect for Marriage
Act. Yeah. So people that are living in the world where that religious bigots and Republican homophobes are still the norm and the majority, you need to update your playbook, because
I don't see my religion on there. Is Unitarian Universalist
Discordian. What are the Discordian support? Do they come down on whatever side of the issue causes the most chaos at any given time?
pretty much.
Yes, but I'm also Unitarian Universalist, so because no contradiction there. So.
Oh, well, wokeness came out of that.
Well, that's because
There's a whole article on it, but the Robin DiAngelo's publisher was the Unitarian Universalist publishing arm.
Yes, that's because it was Puritan, and that's where the Great Awakening came from in the first place. So that was the prehistoric woke.
What's the difference between the prehistoric woke and the woke of today? Because it seems pretty identical.
It is exactly. It's the same issues, except the opinions moderately different.
The what is?
The opinions are different. I think the first woke was on slavery, and they said slavery bad, and we ended it. And
you mean way back when? No, I'm talking recently. Like, because I have a friend that she's Unitarian Universalist, but she was part of the anti-woke groups for a while, and she was like the only one in her church that was standing up against the woke stuff, and the whole congregation was they weren't ostracizing her, but they were definitely resisting her opinions, and she was trying to like change it from within.
So my strategy is going to be woker than the woke. See, I have 2 alarm clocks there. That means I'm twice as woke as they are, which means I get to decide the policy.
You have that kind of power?
Of course.
Okay, well then that
2
makes you
alarm
very
clocks.
valuable. Let's get you in some groups.
I mean, from my understanding, isn't Unitarian Universalism just like woke Protestantism, though? I mean, that's like basically the description that I read last time I heard it mentioned.
It's more like woke Hinduism, to be honest. It's Christianity turned into Hinduism, and that's Unitarian Universalism.
Okay, all right. I mean, and there's nothing.
I went on a Zoom, Unitarian Universalist Zoom to support this friend I'm talking about, and it was a sea of middle-aged, middle-class white women. Like that, I definitely stood out on that Zoom.
Yes,
it was New England. That crowd. That's the same culture that wokeness came from.
And looking over, just like looking up the term Unitarian Universalism, and I look at pictures, and I don't see any black people in any of them. That's maybe one of the most discordian things you could do is being a Unitarian Universalist.
Here's the thing: they used to have control of the country even more so than LDS. I mean, there was presidents like Jefferson, who was I think was Universalist, or was it Unitarian? One of the two before they fused.
Okay. By the way, that religious poll I just showed, the Mormons were at 50%. That was another shocker to me too. So if the Mormons are half and half in support of gay marriage, their trend is not reversing anytime soon. So I don't even know what the QT is complaining about bigotry and homophobia and transphobia and all that.
Yeah, they're really...
And like the schools and the parents, we have to protect the kids from all of this horrible homophobia and bigotry. I just showed you the numbers.
I mean, the thing is that the people on the right are getting upset about like the explicit drag shows where they're having kids at them and stuff. And they say, and then the woke side comes back and says, "Oh, you're hating on gay people," but like I've not seen
like you've always
gay
done,
people,
like you have for since the
exactly.
But that's
so here's
not,
the next thing on the roadmap.
They're not owning the demon in their midst, which is the groomer issue, which comes from queer theory.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's the next thing on the roadmap. We're going to make marriage indistinguishable from incorporation. That's the next thing.
Secular marriage, like federal marriage, legal marriage is just a contract between two adults right now. How much more do they have to fool with it?
Oh, what we do is we make it so you can have any number of people in it again.
Oh, the polyamorous, because the Mormons tried that way back when.
Yes,
it didn't work out so well.
But that's the next thing on the agenda. You can just add and remove any number of people,
like child adult marriage.
We're doing that NAMBLA thing. I don't know.
It's definitely in there, not marriage specifically, but those type of relationships are definitely in their academic writings, the queer theory writings.
Only if Islam gets on board.
It is Islam. We need machine here. Are they pro-child marriage?
I don't know yet, so we're waiting on them.
So you're in support of the polyamorous or the child adult marriage thing? Is that what you're saying?
I don't have an opinion on child adult thing, but in fact, I don't think they can agree to contracts by themselves. They had to
Right. Yeah.
get a parent to sign on for them.
So, but the polyamory thing, you would be like multiple. That seems like it would be really complicated to have
I've known a few
multi-partner
people
Well,
that
marriage.
have tried.
I'm not paying the legal bills. They can do whatever they want.
That's true. I mean, I agree that to that degree that adults should be able to do whatever stupid thing they want. I don't think it's healthy because I've known a few people have attempted polyamorous, like serious relationship like things, and all of them ended extremely ugly and very quickly shortly after they attempted it. So, I mean, I'm not saying it can't work. I've just never seen it, but that's not
Soros
like
does
my
it.
experience is that,
Soros, the
extensive.
YouTuber, is able to maintain it.
What YouTubers?
Soros, the polytheist YouTuber.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
I don't have a problem with polyamory itself. I just don't think we need a legal form
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah,
Doesn't really matter, though.
we're not making something. We're just relabeling something else.
Right. Like I said, I don't have no problem. Adults can do what they want. I don't necessarily see it working out for a lot of people, but it doesn't matter what I think. I don't really think it should matter what I think on that.
Well, I want to finish looking at these
Yeah, let's
the
check it out.
Satanism controversy.
Yeah, for that
this is-
paywall article, you may want to try the Wayback Machine because sometimes it can get around the paywalls.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
This is Helen Lewis. She's a writer with The Atlantic. She said
I know
she
who she
spent
is.
the last few months investigating the battle that's going on for the non-soul of American Satanism. Like many other progressive groups, the Satanic Temple, which is a progressive group, think of it as the ACLU pentagram, has splintered over attitudes to gender.
You know
And
who
this is the
Helen Lewis
article.
is? You know who Helen Lewis is, right? She's
No, I
the,
don't, but I know we
she's-
share a profane surname.
She had the famous or the most famous Jordan Peterson interview besides the one
Oh.
with Kathy Newman. She's the
Oh.
one that did the what's the
The BBC one?
no that was Christine Newman. This is the other one that's if you pull up Jordan Peterson interview, it's like the second or third link every time. She kind of looks like Olivia Williams from Rushmore in the movie Rushmore. She has like the short bob haircut in the interview. She's a lot older now. It's like 10 years ago when they did that. But yeah, it's kind of one of the more famous of his interviews.
Well, she talks about the new atheist. Why did new atheism disappear without a trace? Is that the Sam Harris brand of atheism?
Yeah, I think so.
Affirmative. That is the Sam Harris brand of atheism. And later they had Atheism Plus, which is just the return of new atheism. which
That's
also
social
builds on-
justice. That's the woke atheism.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the woke atheism is the broke atheism. But let's be honest, all kind of went broke. Atheism's been debunked.
And then this is let's see, the Satanic Temple is supposed to be religion, but it's really corporation run by two dudes. So this is a Satanist response to the article. I'm trying to see what there's a lot of like drama, but I want to focus in specifically on the gender issue because that's what it's dividing over.
Throw the link up, or like copy the link for the Atlantic article up in here, and I'll see if I can find on the Wayback Machine or something. See if we can
Okay.
get into it. Because I don't know if I'll be able to find that if I go to X or whatever. Like I tried to find that poll that was supposedly up on. It looked like Paul's Twitter the other day. It's like the one he put up, and I could not find it. Even
Oh,
when I
the
went to his
centrist
page.
poll.
Yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere.
I don't know where he got that from.
Okay, got that. Let's see here. Wayback Machine.
So yeah, if y'all can do your internet mojo on it.
I'm looking.
because Lucian Greaves, the founder, people have put articles about him in the past. He has some ties to the far right or anti-Semitic groups or something in the past. But the Satanic Temple itself came out in favor of reproductive rights and
There you go.
transgender rights and all of that. So I think the tension is between the feminist element in it, the transgender and feminist
the-
element, and then Lucian Greaves and whatever his ties to the right
There's the-
is.
There's the whole article.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna browse it and then see.
Sure.
So just, I guess, talk among yourselves, and then when I find the gender part, I can pull it out.
Sure, I'm
I hope
actually,
I'll get
I'm kind of
copyrighted
reading
for
over
that,
right now.
won't I? Because it's
No.
behind a paywall.
No.
Okay,
No.
I guess I won't.
Not unless
It's
you
just-
watch the stream.
Yeah, if they specifically came to our stream and watched, I guess they could, but you're not showing the whole article on screen at the same time, so there's really no way. They can't stop
I'm
someone
not gonna
from
risk it.
reading. No, I'm saying there's no
I'm not gonna
chance.
try to fuck with Helen Lewis.
If you read it, it's fair use because we're commentating.
Yeah, we're commentating.
So bring
Yeah.
it on, Helen.
So I can read it, I just can't show it.
No,
You can
show
read it out loud even.
You can show it. You can read it. We're commentating over. It's fair use. Bring it on,
Yeah.
Helen.
Yeah.
Sock it to Jeff.
Come at me,
Yeah.
Helen.
Not to mention the fact that it's going to be within the smaller window type thing. It's not like we just have a video that's just showing the article in full that people can stop and read it like that. It's the same thing that, when you got that copyright thing the other day, that was from the beginning of the show. Whenever
I'm
that
not
was
gonna
taken, the
risk
whole
it.
thing.
I'm not gonna risk it. I'm gonna try to behave
Okay.
a little bit.
I
Even though
mean,
it's
I-
about
I-
Satanism.
I don't think there's any chance. I've never heard of
I'm
anyone
not-
getting copyright strike for an article.
I'm not gonna risk it.
Okay.
There's a lawyer called David Silverman who's president of the American Atheist. What type of atheism are they?
New.
I don't know.
They're new. They're new atheists because they.
Well, he's
they were
and Lucian Greaves, the head of the Satanic Temple, took a photo with him, and that's one of the things that started this freak out. So
Yeah.
they're doing the cancel culture. He's associating with the wrong people.
But yeah, I had affiliation with the right too, but I started dropping them once they threatened.
Oh,
me.
Silverman got pushed out of American Atheist
Yes,
over
yes, he did.
accusations of sexual misconduct. So
Yeah.
part of it is that too. And he's recently drawn criticism for arguing that it's not transphobic. This was his argument now. It's not transphobic to say live your life as you see fit, but stay out of women's showers and don't mess with the kids. That he's claiming that's not transphobic, and he got criticism for that and painted as a transphobe.
Well, if I felt like a woman that day, which art I use?
That's the issue.
Yeah, that's the
Are
issue.
you a scary male sexual predator, or are you an oppressed male victim that's misunderstood and needs safety?
constant
It depends on my
affirmation from
mood.
everyone.
It's
It
like the
depends on-
vase and two faces. It depends on who's looking at you, what they're going to see. The feminists are going to see you one way. The trans activists are going to see you a different way. And since the trans activists are more oppressed, they're at the bottom of the oppression pyramid because they have more intersections of oppression, then they win.
Even though
So
they
you
actually
get
have
to power
less.
with the women.
So
I think-
I'm gonna say predator today. So I'm a bad boy. Then I get affirmative consent. Then I get off scot free. That's my calculus.
That's why everyone's trying to identify into trans and queer, because that's where all the power is right now.
Yeah, that's why I'm explicitly bi. That way I get benefits from that.
You should be bi non-binary. Queer,
Bi,
bi,
non-binary.
queer, non-binary. That would put you in the queer camp.
So
Which is
I make it even
transit-
trickier. I make it even trickier since I have a female goddess. If you come up with atheist BS and say, "Well, gods aren't real," well, that means my ego's a woman. So they had to put me in the trans category themselves.
And you're a religious minority, and you're black, but I don't think that carries as much cachet as it did in the
I mean,
past. Since the trans
Yeah.
came and bumped it.
I don't even think, like, if on any technical level, though, when you think about it, I don't think the trans community has any more oppression.
They do according to the laws of woke.
Right.
Yes,
from
but
the-
but
because
the
they can't
trans women
use
I know
women's
don't-
bathrooms and they can't play in women's sports. That's
According
the
to
two
the
things.
trans women I know
intersection-
don't even give a crap. They don't. They didn't. That's why you want to come and talk
Yeah,
to Jeff
the ones
about
I've
it. They
the ones
don't
I've
care.
known don't care either. Yeah, absolutely. And they don't consider themselves oppressed, and they don't talk about being oppressed, and they don't act oppressed. So it's just the people in the media, really.
Ooh, Satanists in the wilderness. I like that idea. The British version, the British branch of the Satanic Temple, all 41 members. So in all of Britain, there's 41 Satanic Temple members.
At least
Rebranded
part of that.
themselves as Satanists in the wilderness.
Yeah, that's why I'm you now because we have more satanic power than actual Satanists.
They held a Molotov mocktails event on Zoom to air the concerns of trans and non-binary Satanists. That's all you have to do is be trans, or you don't have to be trans. You could be non-binary and have concerns, and the whole world will stop to address your concerns. What other group gets that privilege?
The government, because they can just shut it down.
Satanic Temple and the patriarchal white supreme structure of its leadership. White supreme sick structure of its leadership. So they're revolting against what they see. They're seeing the Satanic Temple leadership as part of the patriarchy, and that's what they're revolting against. It's the cis-normative heteronormative patriarchy, white male patriarchy, and now the leadership of the Satanic Temple, because they're white and male and cis and heteronormative, are now the enemy. So they're turning again, even though the whole Satanic Temple is filled with trans activists. The majority of them, there's over 50% LGBT. They've been in favor of reproductive rights. They're anti-abortion. They're in favor of female feminist rights, trans rights. But because they're headed by white men, they are the enemy, and there's a revolt.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, when you think about it too, I mean, it kind of seems like I think like the Satanic Temple as an organization was probably very attractive to a lot of woke types, a lot of trans activist types because of the built-in androgyny into the kind of the symbolism and everything. Like Baphomet itself, it's got breasts and things like that. You know,
Mine does.
oh, a lot of
Yeah,
them do.
you're right. Though it is designed to be. It captures the man human nature, the animal man nature,
Yeah.
and the male female nature,
Yeah.
and the divine carnal nature, like all the
Yeah.
opposites united.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, because of that, I think that's what drew a lot of people to it, thinking, you know, they probably saw it as something they could take over. Maybe not consciously. They probably weren't going into it thinking they probably just attracted to the symbolism and the sort of thing without really caring much about the philosophy. And because a lot of people that seem to be like this, seems like the only thing they have going in their whole lives or their heads is the fact that they're trans. Like the activist type.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
their
their
whole
whole-
life is they don't have anything else going on, just that. So, which probably is more of a sign of mental illness than anything, but still, yeah. I mean, I see how it was attractive to those types, and then they go in there and they expect all this like respect and everything, and I'm sure the temple itself was welcoming at first, not expecting it to transform into this schism.
I mean, I saw this 3 years ago when I
Yeah.
was involved during COVID. I got out of there pretty quickly because it was so woke. I don't know how they didn't see this coming. In fact, listen to this quote right here. Over the past few years, I've heard similar stories from charities, museums, theaters, media outlets, and political groups about evolving ideas of harm and the difficulty of managing rank and file revolts that manifest as social justice blowups. But this stuff was happening to Satanists now. She's saying the same thing. Like I saw this coming because I saw it happening in all my other groups, and it was just a matter of time before it happened to the Satanic Temple.
Yeah. So
This is like
would-
a lesson, a case study in what happens.
yeah.
With
So when I
Satanists.
was a writer, I told the ethno-nationalists to prop themselves up by getting like tiny Asian women as figureheads. That way, when they try to say white guy in charge, said, nope, actually we have an Asian woman in charge. Then they can just get away with anything. But they didn't listen.
So you think if the Satanic Temple had gotten some trans or black women in leadership, it would be harder to pull off this revolt.
Yes, because you say, well, you're racist. Was it how? There's our token. What are you gonna do now? That's just a token. How dare you call our token a token? That's racist. Then they really don't have. It pretty much pulls the teeth out of their argument.
Well, you saw how, did you see the thing? I mean, that happens all the time in politics, certainly. I mean, look at what Gavin Newsom just did to replace the recently deceased Dianne Feinstein. He chose this real corporatist stooge, but she's also a female black, she's a black female. So nobody can criticize the choice because, you'd be racist and sexist if you criticize the black woman. So,
but you're not criticizing the black woman. You're criticizing specific actions.
Of course. I'm saying, but that they
beliefs or behaviors that any individual could have.
Yeah, it's just an obvious grift. But because the media won't criticize it, the mainstream media won't anyway. They won't criticize the fact that she's got I can't remember what she was formerly from, like the board of a bunch of different like defense contractors or something like that. I can't remember which one it was. I've read it earlier and I've already forgotten it. But but she's definitely more of a corporatist than she is anything, and she's being put in this Democrat position. And the Democrats, they were not going to say anything. They're not going to complain because, it's a black woman. So you got to let it, you can't, criticize it. It's just ridiculous.
That's so stupid. How do you run a society that way?
You shouldn't. It's not a good sign for the future of society.
Well, it's a game. So if you have to, if they're going to call you racist, you just say yes. But then say, well, when this person said that it happens to be the same type and have different policies or something stupid like that. That's where you can boil down the definition of racist to make no sense at all.
Yeah, for power.
Yeah, it's demagoguery.
Well, here, listen. I found another little passage. One way to understand social justice uprisings is that many of them are proxy wars. As my colleague Ann Applebaum wrote 2 years ago, those who are targeted tend to be difficult in some fashion, haughty, impatient, confrontational, or insufficiently interested in people whom they perceive to be less talented. So interpersonal conflicts get recast in simplistic identity terms. A man said something questionable to a woman or a Latino or an Asian American. Exactly what we just talked about.
Yeah.
But that's because people are too stupid to understand what's really happening. So you have to just...
Is it too stupid, or is it more to their advantage to understand it in that other way because that gives them the best chance of getting the outcome that they want? Like that puts more power in
that
their
other
hands.
way gives them the best outcome because most of the audience is too stupid to understand what's actually happening.
So they're playing, like they're exploiting the stupidity or superficiality
Yes.
of the audience, of like there's a certain audience out there that they can exploit for that.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, there definitely is. I mean, I don't think it's, I mean, the Satanic Temple, I thought at first when you mentioned it, I was thinking more like the Anton LaVey Satanist Temple. I didn't realize this was it's a much more recent invention that's kind of anti-theist. I didn't realize it was the anti-theistic version.
Yeah, not the church is saying that's a different thing. That's
not necessarily anti-theistic, just non-theistic.
Just non-theistic, right? But yeah,
so
looking this over though, I mean, considering I guess it first founded in 2013. So
yeah, and Lucian was on Fox News all the time.
Atheist and atheist adjacent organizations have always kind of leaned towards the woke side. So yeah, I mean,
I was part of them for a while. They didn't lean any particular way.
But like
they didn't lean that way until Elevator Gate came and tilted them that way.
Yeah, like the Atheist Code of Austin pretty much pushed out Matt Dillahunty because of wokeness, and they pretty much offended reality rules and all that kind of stuff.
Well, she says, talking to Satanists, both loyalists and dissidents, I could feel the familiar contours of a story that is often told about American social justice politics, one of easily offended, self-centered, and entitled activists. Let me read that again. Easily offended, self-centered, and entitled activists who are impossible to integrate into a conventional hierarchy, and sow chaos and destruction wherever they go. Why would you like that's kind of like the drama we're dealing with in the streaming universe? Why would you even try to cater to these people? If you have your conventional hierarchy and it's working for the members that it was set up for, why would you let this new group that's self-centered, entitled, and impossible to integrate? Why would you even give them any
Well,
kind of
But the
opening?
secret is it was not working. It was just like going nowhere. So they get the entitled people because at least they have the energy to get up and do something. We want to get something done. Put the activist there and give them a scoreboard. Because otherwise, you have people who just want to get by and need to do the minimal.
But it was working in the sense that the group wasn't revolting. It was cohesive. And she does go on to say that. Do what?
If it's cohesive and they don't really do much or anything, it doesn't make a difference if they exist or not.
But that's preferable to these activists that come in and now you don't have a group at all.
Well, either you don't have a group or they fork into 3 or 4 different groups to do the same thing, which is, it depends on your mission. It's usually better.
I mean, the Satanic Temple were doing stuff. They were promoting reproductive rights, abortion. They had the after-school Satan clubs. It's not like they were just not doing anything. And now they're having to do this instead. She does go on to say that a lot of the complaints are managerial as much as ideological, which I've heard before. The leadership is very authoritarian. That's why I got out of it too. And I'm surprised there's as many Satanists that stayed in it as they are, because anti-authoritarianism is one of the values that holds almost all Satanists together. So that they were submitting themselves to this very authoritarian style of leadership surprised me from the beginning.
Yeah, that's why Unitarian Universalism is better than Satanism and OTL. It's because it's democratic instead of authoritarian. So we have what's it called, cabals instead of despots.
Well, I mean, at the same, I'm just thinking about. I mean, this is off the top of my head. I'm not. I think to myself though that, you know, as we were talking about earlier, and as you mentioned in that chat the other day, talk about like, you know, that socialism is the ultimate expression of the matriarchy and fascism is the ultimate expression
communism, socialism,
right, or communism or socialism, But so, and clearly, you know, as they say, like, you know, fascism is the extreme right, communism extreme left. I mean, the Satanic Temple overall, I mean, just because it's in a more atheistic type organization, I mean, those typically lean left anyway, so they're already kind of predisposed towards more matriarchal type concepts, aren't they?
That's what's so interesting about this, because the leadership is patriarchal, but the member, the base is very matriarchal. So that's what that's where the conflict is showing up between leadership and the actual members.
Right. Okay.
And I've said this over and over. I go back to this principle that I don't think the two are compatible. I see this even in the men's group. There are men in the men's group that have these more, to me, feminist needs for safety and emotional safety, and then they have my type where they just want to find men that can have conversations and not worry about all that stuff. So even in the men's movement, those two are very hard to coexist in the same group or the same meeting or on the same Zoom, because the needs are so different. I need to be able to just talk like we do here, and they need people to stick to certain agreements and protocols so they can feel safe, and that if they get emotionally hurt in any kind of way, they want the ability to stop the conversation and redirect it in a way that's going to make them emotionally feel safe. Well, that comes in direct conflict with my need to just openly express myself.
Right. They have that on the Zoom call. It's called the disconnect button.
Well,
That's what I keep saying.
yeah, I mean that's fair.
Like if you're on my Zoom, you can leave. If you hear something you can take a break, leave, whatever, and manage it yourself. Like there's nothing the group has to do. It
mean,
goes
but-
back to like who taking personal responsibility for your own emotions or externalizing them onto another source or another person or another source, and having them be the locus. Hey, John, the locus of at least a solution for your emotions. I feel a certain way, therefore you need to do this. Instead of I feel a certain way, therefore let me manage that reaction.
Yeah, dude, it's not a shadow game. You can just hit the disconnect button. You don't lose points. You don't lose your soul, whatever that is. It's just that's how we manage it.
But then they won't come back. Like part of it is like, how do you keep? But then I'm like, that's not the people I'm looking to.
They can come. They have the
felt-
link. They'll come back when they feel like it.
Well, I mean, not everything is for everyone, right? So, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But
That's
I
why
mean-
I think there's room for different groups for different people. Like you can have it all under one organization. You just can't have it all in the same meeting at the same time.
I really think, though, that a lot of the people that claim that what they need is emotional safety or something based on rules and protocols and things like that, I don't think they're really looking for safety at all. They're looking for control. They're just trying to control things. I mean,
That's kind of what it seemed like to me, because when I've seen it used, it seemed like it was used more as a way to test how much
yeah.
power
I mean,
and
I've
control.
I've
you
seen
can
people do that many
affect.
times, and I think like it's a very matriarchal type thing. It's a very feminine to try to wrestle some degree of control from a patriarchal figure by imposing a bunch of rules and things like that you can use as ways to attack. I mean, and I'm not anti-woman, by the way. I'm not, but I mean, these are like the extreme feminist type, like the very common tactics they use. I mean, and I don't even think they think of them as tactics. I don't think it's a conspiratorial type, like, mentality where they're conspiring to try to take over. It's an emotional response. It's a learned emotional response they have. But what they're looking for isn't safety. They're looking for control. They're trying to wrestle some power away or to feel power themselves, like, which is pretty childish, honestly. But, that's what they do. The same thing a child or a toddler does, like when they first learn, like, about basic rules and stuff like that. If they're playing with a friend or something and they lose a game, then suddenly it's like he cheated. He, they try to, like, they accused of things and they try to, like, create schisms like that so they feel like they get some control back. I mean,
You can't have egalitarianism that way. If it's topping
agree.
from the bottom. Like if I don't put myself in environments where I don't feel a sense of power and control in the first place, I wouldn't go in an environment where I felt that way. So they're already in spaces where there's a power differential stacked against them that they feel like they're on the end on. This is subjective. I'm not saying there actually is one, but subjectively they feel or behave as though there's one, or else they wouldn't need these rules and the ability to use them this way. But you can't. That's not egalitarianism.
No, it's not.
So
I mean,
first and
Go ahead.
foremost, I am open to wrong and the hate with a feminist. That's okay with me. But second of all, and these people who struggle for power, I find a lot of times once you hand it to them, they don't know what to do with it. It's
That's
hilarious. Have you tried that? I saw when you hand them power, they don't know what to do when they give it up right then and there.
Well, there's
Like
a
2
difference
minutes.
between someone who's trying to get power and control and someone who wants responsibility. When you're saying giving them power, you're actually saying giving them responsibility. And they don't want responsibility. They want to complain and get their way in the moment anytime it suits them. And whenever that moment has passed, then they want to go back to not having responsibility. That's the reason why when you give them power, supposedly, you're really giving them responsibility. They don't want that. They don't want any chance that they could be blamed for anything. They're only like it when they're in the victim role.
Exactly. That reminds me of the Republican Party.
Yeah,
The what?
or actually both parties do this all the time.
Yeah.
Each one of them plays victim while the other one's in control. Like the Democrats get in control, so the Republicans act like they're the poor, victimized group that get beat down by the Democrats, and then the power dynamic flips, and the Democrats do the same thing for a while. The Democrats are probably a little bit better at it, honestly. They tend to play victim a lot better than the Republicans do, which is why they can switch the power dynamic back so quickly. But they seem, and then when they get in power, they don't do anything with it because of the fact they don't really want the responsibility or to be blamed for any of the decisions they make that might make people upset. So it really works to their advantage a lot of times, but they have to kind of flip it back and forth every now and then. Otherwise people get, otherwise people start hating one side too much more, because if the Republicans were in power for, like, let's say 4 or 5 terms or something, people in the country would really turn against the Republicans completely. It might actually destroy the party entirely. And the same thing would happen to the Democrats. If it doesn't flip back and forth constantly, there's really no balance, which is, it's not really balanced anyway. But I mean, that's kind of the way it works right now, I think.
So I was a former Republican, but I say that the Democrats are far better at BDSM than the Republicans right now. They're better topping and bottoming than the Republicans.
Hey, I mean, I
there's
don't like either one of
sadomasochism on both sides. That's why I think
the Democrats are better at topping for sure.
I mean, I agree. I'm not a fan of. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, so I mean, you can say whatever you want about either side. I'm just saying that I think the Democrats play victim a little bit better. That's all.
Well, she does. She goes on to say over and over again, when I was talking with Satanists, current, former, disaffected, devout, one thought kept popping to my head. This is new atheism all over again.
I read that part. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're talking the elevator gate thing. That's the thing with Richard Dawkins, right?
Mm-hmm. That was the feminist revolting against male, not necessarily male authority, but male behavior, male values that they saw as endemic to atheism itself. Not just this one guy who approached her in the elevator, but Dawkins came out and wrote that letter. I guess that didn't help either. But he wrote it in defense of perfectly normal male values that they were trying to pathologize.
I mean,
like
it was just a guy that just made some sexually suggestive comments or something.
It wasn't even sexually suggestive. They were in an elevator, and he asked if she wanted to go back to his hotel room and have a drink or something. And in her mind, that was sexual harassment. She was being propositioned.
Yeah, and he didn't actually do anything that offensive, but she threw a big fit about it, right?
And then all the feminists came to her side because believe all women. Like when a woman says that she was sexually don't make it out like she wasn't.
Okay, we're sorry we said you were hot. We're sorry we said you were hot. Whatever.
Right. Yeah, but because it's one of those things. That one was one of the more egregious ones because this wasn't like believe all women. Like what everyone believed what she said, but she didn't say what she said he did wasn't bad. It was just someone thought she was attractive and asked her to have a drink with him. And that's just generally how people do dating and courtship in most cases. But I guess she was saying it was inappropriate because it was in the elevator and she didn't feel like she could get away. So this wasn't a social situation. It wasn't a bar. It's so stupid.
What does that mean? How long is an elevator ride? All she had to do was wait for the door to open and go about her business.
Or use the
stairs.
Don't
they have cameras in elevators?
Yes. Yeah. Or use the stairs. Oh,
she didn't have the strength to say no. She had no ability to set boundaries or say no or anything, and that's on her. And she's trying to externalize it like the society should be restructured in a certain way so that she's protected from all when she can easily take control of the situation herself.
Yeah, but she did say no. She did take control of the situation. She didn't sleep with him or anything. She just felt uncomfortable for a brief moment, which I think most of us do regularly feel uncomfortable in many different situations throughout any day. That when you have to interact with the public, you're going to feel uncomfortable 3 to 4 times a day minimum. I don't understand where this idea comes from that we have a right to never feel uncomfortable because most of life is uncomfortable. I have back pain and all sorts of things. I have vertigo. I don't have the right to not have those things. I wish I didn't have them, but I don't have the right to it. It's no one's fault that I feel that way. It's just like, I mean, I understand like people, want to feel safe and everything like that, but you don't need to feel unsafe unless you want to in that situation. Like, I mean, yes, creepy things happen. People do get like harassed and abused and stuff like that. And I don't think anybody denies that. It's just so silly. Like, I can't believe that became. I think it was the Dawkins letter, honestly, that turned it into a flashpoint. I don't think it really got bad until he wrote that letter. To be honest.
So Rebecca Watson wrote a whining blog post on her blog. Then Richard Dawkins responded to it. Then hit the news hard.
Yeah,
but there's another piece that she gave us a talk. She gave a talk earlier on how it creeps her out and makes her uncomfortable when men sexualize her, which could be anything, like complimenting a woman could be sexual. So the fact that he did it after she gave this talk, so he should have paid attention to her talk and known not to approach her based on her talk. So
let's define creepy real quick.
He was expected to have met.
We need to define creepy real quick. Creepy means the guy's not hot enough.
Right.
That's what creepy means.
That's exactly what it is.
We need to define that explicitly so the audience can understand. Creepy means the guy wasn't hot enough for her.
It either means the guy wasn't hot enough or she regrets having slept with him, even if he was hot. Like if it's like when it's a celebrity happens, like what happened with Aziz Ansari. He had sex with some girl that was a fan or something like that, and she regretted it the next day, and then so like suddenly he was a creep, but he was completely blindsided by it. Of course, that was just a Medium post, so I think that thing got blown out of proportion in the first place. But I mean, because there's not even any proof that anything happened at all. I guess he did admit to it though. But like that seems like that's the only two options, though.
They had one of the white.
This is why I'm making you buy your own coffee. There you go.
P.Z. Myers, who's a famous atheist blogger, came to her defense, and he wrote a blog post about it too. And that's what, and I think that's what Dawkins was responding to, that this other guy got involved with his blog post. So Dawkins is not the one that escalated it. This white knight, P.Z. Myers did.
All right. Yeah, it's always the white man who's important. So
it's kind of a war between men with more feminist values and men with more masculinist values, which is what I started this whole podcast saying.
So just remember, Anita Sarkeesian, aka Feminist Frequency, said,
I can't stand
women
her.
are the ball. There you go. Women are the ball.
Or the what? The ball?
Yep, women are the ball. And it's not me
saying
and the men are,
yeah. That's why I said it's a gender war. It's the archetypal female versus the archetypal male, the matriarchy versus the patriarchy. And the matriarchy includes men and women, and the patriarchy includes men and women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, exactly. It's a team sport.
But they're two opposed sets of values, and I just can't live by matriarchal value. I can't internalize them. I can't subject myself to them. And that's fine if people don't want to live by the masculinist values. I think there should be spaces for both, but don't force me to live by yours, and I won't force you to live by mine. I think we can all coexist in one country, I hope. Hey, Petunia, Juniper.
Hey,
I like her shirt. That's the trans color.
Hey, Juniper. You hear it?
Hey, Juniper.
Is Juniper team patriarchy or matriarchy?
Looks like she's both.
She's just team mom and daddy right now. That's all she cares about. As long as she's got mom and daddy, she's happy. But I'm
gonna say patriarchy because the marriage is intact.
Yeah, she's in a nuclear family. That makes
her.
So
I'm gonna say patriarchy.
But a nuclear family is I don't really find that, at least my nuclear family, I don't think we're particularly a patriarchy or a matriarchy. We really do work together as a team.
No, but the nuclear family currently, just the concept of it now is a patriarchal concept.
Oh, patriarchal concept. Yeah, that's right, because it's been around for a while.
That's what the queer theories are so head up about.
Patriarchy is really just a term these days, but the left just uses it to refer to anything that's old or traditional. It doesn't even matter if it has anything to do with a patriarchal system. It's just a term that has negative connotations. The same way they apply fascist and Nazi to things that aren't fascist or Nazi.
Fascism's pretty general. I mean, fascism just means public-private partnership. I mean, neoliberalism is technically fascist.
And
guess.
today, when they use patriarchy, the term has changed. It used to mean patriarchy. Now it means cis normativity,
Yeah,
but
that's
they
what I
still
mean.
call it
It's just
patriarchy.
anything that's like old thinking, because supposedly that just gets called patriarchy. Like I said, like and like I agree, Hank, that yeah, the fascism doesn't really, but the way the term fascist gets used, it gets called at people that have nothing to do with fascism. They just aren't
Yeah,
liked, so they get called Nazi or
yeah, they're
fascist.
just
It has
people,
nothing to do
men
with
we
it.
don't
That's what I
like
mean.
that are trying to.
Yeah.
We think they're trying to tell us what to do,
Yeah, but
or not living like we think they should live.
But yeah, fashion's so general and poorly defined that you can apply you paint a broad brush of everything fascism be correct in the right context.
Well, I was telling Chris earlier before we came on that I think people pretty much divide into either having daddy issues or mommy issues, like Freudianly or from childhood. And the people with mommy issues want a matriarchy and they want the feminist values, and people like me with the daddy issues want something more male oriented.
No, I had the mommy issues. That's why my life got.
You have more mommy issues than daddy issues?
Yeah, I think so. My life smoothed out after my mom broke, so I probably had the mommy issues.
Your
So it's-
values seem more male though, masculinist.
Well, pretty much. I guess I replaced her with Eris, and she's more like a female man. So in that respect, well, maybe my mom was too, but I guess my mom was pro patriarchy. There you go. That's how I fixed that. My mom.
So I guess when I'm saying mommy and daddy issues, I'm talking about I'm talking about like the actual archetype at the center of it, the imago. But I'm also talking about the values that. So I
Yeah.
guess you could have a mother with patriarchal values.
Yeah, that's pretty much That's how That's how I'm going to say it today. Maybe the story will change tomorrow, but that's what I'm saying today.
Well, it almost sounds like what you're saying though is that like mommy issues are people that lacked a real mother figure, so they look for it in, authoritarian structures, and vice versa with daddy issues. But I don't think that's necessarily always the case. Because
Either lacking or overmothered. Like they were
overmothered, right?
over
Okay.
nurtured in highly feminine values, and they need that perpetuated in their life. They can't accommodate themselves to the masculine value. And same with patriarchy. Like mine was lack of, but you could
Right.
have somebody that was overly militarized by their father and now is comfortable living under those values.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, because like I don't know. I think I ended up with a pretty good balance, to be honest. I've never really felt like too under masculine, but I do have a rather strong feminine side. So I don't know. Like I've never. I think I got a pretty good balance. Of course, I have a nuclear family too. My mother and father were both there. I had some issues with my dad as I get older, but some conflicts. But those have all gone away now. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope my children get a good balance of both, and they don't end up with issues from either side. But who knows what's going to happen? I guess.
Oh, what we're gonna do is just make every possible thing an issue. So if they're real balanced, we're gonna mix and then DSM off of that too. So there you go.
Okay.
There's no escape, Chris. No
Right.
escape.
So we can make having a balanced sense of femininity and masculinity into its own disorder. That sounds great. I think that way
Well,
everyone gets to be a victim.
Exactly. Everyone gets a
Even
victim.
things like
We'll make some med for it, probably just baking soda, and we'll charge you out the wazoo.
even things like individuality, punctuality, merit, which to me are pretty gender neutral, are now framed as white patriarchal values. So like
Math is racist too. Math is racist.
yeah, and math's probably patriarchal as well.
Yeah.
So
Because
it's
numbers are rigid and defined, and therefore it must be an evil
and
patriarchy.
rational.
I have a patriarchy math joke I learned from Bernardo Castro from his latest interview. The joke is 5 married? That's
Is
the
what?
punchline.
Is what?
Is the number 5 married? And that is the punchline.
Okay.
Is number 5 married?
Yeah, it's the number 5 married.
That's
You said it's a
the
math.
setup
Is
and
it
the
something you
punchline
can
all one.
share?
It's from a Bernardo Castro interview. I'll go ahead and link it in the private chat, and I'll put the name in the public chat so people can go ahead and find it.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Patty. I didn't have the comments
because
up
you
there.
didn't give me the
I didn't
wrench
notice that you
because racism. You didn't give me a wrench yet.
Oh, it's okay. We're body.
I don't
double.
have a wrench yet either, and I'm on the show every day, man.
That means he hates everyone because Satanism, right, Jeff?
I don't care though. It doesn't matter to me.
I don't care either. It just
What?
I just have Jeff do whatever. But I'm gonna get
What
you
did
the
I miss?
links.
Oh, nothing. He was saying that you didn't have a wrench yet because of racism. I was joking. I said I don't have one either.
Oh,
He's
I
raising
didn't
white
even
people too.
think.
No,
You
you're
know what?
straight.
How do
You're
I didn't
straight,
even
Chris, so he
think.
doesn't like
First
you.
of all, I never have a chat to even need mods. I didn't even
Yeah, I
think
know.
about how
It
do
doesn't
I-
matter to me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me either. Let me get the links.
Let me figure out how to do that.
Say hi to Patty.
Because I don't want to make the same mistake Machine did and make everybody a mod and then have them all fight each other.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't have any need to have mod powers for the chat because I'm never in
Well,
the comments.
you're
I'm
the
watching show.
Can manage block also has. You're also like the co-host pretty much, so I think you
Right.
should at least have a wrench. I'll start with you, and I'll add more. What about
John-
people with both mommy
Yeah.
and daddy issues?
John makes a good point. Yeah,
The
so we
non-binary.
left them out. We didn't include them in the hierarchy of.
Well,
of
I think
what you put there.
ultimately it comes down to your ultimate value. Like in your hierarchy of values, whichever values are at the top, would you do better under a patriarchy or a matriarchy if you had to choose? Find more meaning without free will.
I think growing up
There's free will.
when I was younger, I probably would have thought that the matriarchy would be better to live under. But now, as an older, yeah, I think patriarchal
Me
systems
too.
actually work better, just because adults need a sense of authority more than a sense of
And responsibility.
nurturing. Yeah,
And meaning from contributing to something larger.
like as
And that kind of goes with what Steve said about
Yeah.
like kids need their mother in the first 5 years, and then
yeah, exactly.
particularly boys, their father in the later years.
Although I think it probably, I mean, I don't know. I don't know a lot of girls that were raised primarily by their father, but I mean, I would imagine that they probably get, I don't know, would they have daddy issues in like the sense of like, does that mess teenage girls up? If they
It
don't have a
depends.
mother
They might
figure
have
around them?
princess syndrome,
Right.
like, and the need to be daddy's little girl their whole life.
And maybe we just need to face the fact that some people are just bad and they don't. I'm just kidding.
I think a lot of it is developmental, but that's always like layered on top of your innate genetic tendencies.
Right.
And like I grew up in a matriarch. I had plenty of female nurturing, but it wasn't coddling. It was just
Right. Yeah.
tenderness and more gentle approach and that type of stuff. I didn't have a lot of authoritarian male figures around trying to tell me what to do and force me to be any particular way. But then I have lack discipline. I lack structure. I lack all of the stuff that you get from having that.
I think like my dad, he's at the same time, he tried very hard to be that strong, like, masculine role model. And I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't. I have a lot of respect for my father. But he's also a much more feminine man than you would expect from like the kind of, I mean, my dad's much more traditional manly than I am. He actually watches sports and stuff, and I can't stand watching football and shit. So I mean,
sports
That
ball's boring.
one of the benchmarks.
well, I mean, it seems to be part of the traditional idea of what men like and stuff like that. I just can't stand. I enjoy playing games. I'm terrible at them, and I probably get injured these days, especially. But I mean, I played basketball and baseball as a child and stuff like that, and I enjoyed it fine. I was terrible
Some of
at
them
it
were
all the
fun.
time.
I love volleyball, especially beach volleyball.
Yeah, I like playing games, but I don't like watching them at all. I don't
I don't
get
either,
into
but I
it.
know plenty of women who like watching the game.
Yeah,
too.
that's true. My wife is one of them. She likes watching football. I just can't stand it.
I mean, we need to check the scoreboard. Maybe watching sports ball makes you trans. So maybe we got that.
Well, I've been saying I think I actually do support trans women in sports, because I think especially for the WNBA, it would make it a lot more interesting. And
Of course.
we'd finally get some dunking in a WNBA game, and like maybe some people would watch it then. I think capitalism supports it, to be honest.
Yeah, we need co-ed leagues, co-ed professional leagues. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, can you imagine like how fast feminist WNBA people like Brittany Griner and such, how fast they would suddenly turn against the trans thing if suddenly they let in trans women into WNBA and they start getting dunked on constantly? It would definitely create some Discordian type chaos.
No, my imagination's not that good, so we need to just actually just show me. You just need
we need to actually do it. I think so.
Run the experiment.
Yeah,
Yes.
run the experiment. Let's find out.
Yeah, so we just need to do it and show me. My imagination's not good enough.
And hey, like the only real chance I think we have of ever seeing, a woman be able to play professional football is probably if it's a trans woman. So.
That's not necessarily true. We can have field goal kicker. That's
right.
Anyone
I
can
forgot
do
about the
that.
field goal kicker thing, but I mean, come on, nobody considers them to be really part of the main part of the football team. They don't.
The coach
they
does.
can't get tackled. They can't. Yeah, the coach does. I mean,
they can get tackled, just usually don't.
Right. I guess I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the fact they could get tackled. I don't really watch enough football though, so I saw something on I think it was a right-wing leaning channel that was probably Matt Walsh or something, who was talking about some recent thing about a woman that actually played in college football on a men's football team, and how like they were praising her as this big feminist moment, but she only played one play in the game. That's all she did. She did one thing where she tried to tackle, or she did tackle the quarterback, but she tackled him like 10 seconds after he threw the ball, so it didn't really make any difference. It was like
that should have got a foul, right?
I think it is.
But shouldn't
They didn't call
it after the play.
That's what he was saying. He was saying they should have called a flag on the play because it's considered, I don't know what it's considered. It's an unnecessary thing. There's no reason to tackle the guy. And but they didn't call a flag on it. And so they just celebrated it as this big moment in feminism because a woman was playing on a college sports football thing, and she tackled somebody. She did it even though it was technically wrong. So
that seems very patriarchal. We have women in there, but we'll enforce less rules on them to balance it out. That seems fun. We could do that.
Yeah, it's kind of like this weird form of sexism. It's that kind of like that pity sexism, where like they're treating the woman differently because she's a woman and not because, I mean, really just because she's a woman. That's why they're treating her differently. And that's sexist itself. Just same way we do that with race and stuff like that. We create these, entitlements and rules, and like it's as though people from minorities can't actually do these things. We have to give them special consideration because otherwise they won't succeed. And that's just bullshit. I've been friends with so many Black, Asian, even if people of Indian descent, and they were all more than capable of getting by without any of that stuff, and they actually resented that kind of shit. So
that's diverse and sexist. I say let's do that. That's hilarious. Let's do that.
Isn't that what it comes down to, is wanting to be treated special, like not wanting to be treated equal or the same as everyone else, but wanting to be treated specially, because that's how
definitely
they feel
the case
included.
with the trans thing. Definitely the case with the trans thing, except for the sports and bathroom issue, I guess. Because those are the two cases. The only things they have I still think they're wrong, but that's the only thing they have any ground to stand on saying that they're victimized in any way or treated differently. It's just
because they have all the rights we have already.
There has never been there's never been a law against trans people getting married. There's never been anything like that. So
I'm gonna sit and call them all privileges. That way we don't have to. That way we can negotiate over who should have what. They're all privileges.
I never
we're-
wanted anything special.
Yeah,
I just wanted the same thing everyone else had. Like my
But you know,
generation.
if we really if we really turned our society into a true meritocracy, you know, then maybe we could like bestow special privileges on people based on their merit as a person, and if that was the case, that would be a truly terrifying scenario for most of the victim the victim clutching community, because they're mostly not very good people. Let's be honest. I mean,
I bet they'll come on favor of it.
in meritocracy.
Yeah, I actually think they'll come on in favor of it, and they'll try to find a way to pervert it because it sounds good on paper, and they probably won't actually disagree with it. They probably
Well, it sounds like terrible on paper to me, because who defines who has merit, except for like, I mean, in a capitalist system, at least we have the market to kind of like the overall public response. We can show like how much merit it has to a degree, which doesn't always work, because certain really good pieces of art or certain good products and everything sometimes never catch on just because they don't get the right kind of exposure, this or that, or if something is some mistake happens early on in like that thing's development, and therefore it has a bad reputation and so on and so forth. So the market doesn't always regulate itself perfectly. But for the most part, like the merit of most things can usually be judged that way. But if you had some sort of like top down decided, like, who has merit and who doesn't, that would turn into a nightmare really quickly, because it would just get corrupted. The politicians just choose their own children and the friends of their children, so on and so forth. And it would just be turned into like elitism 2.0 ultimate.
Yeah, like they
edition,
do now. And my problem with the market is cartels planning to make decisions all together, so we don't have an actual choice. Like for right repair, like computer manufacturers all agreeing on not giving parts, so we can't fix stuff. So that's my problem. Market cartels.
Well, if we set certain objective criteria, that would be harder to game of
That's
what
true.
merit is.
Yeah, we should do that.
But how do you create that criteria? What criteria would you use?
Well, I
got some
guess it would
comments from
depend
Patty
on
here.
What we're talking about.
Patty says, I don't think women's sports has to be exactly as popular as men's personally. And I agree with that. She said the gameplay has improved since Title IX. I thought wasn't Title IX like that? Wasn't it supposedly like, isn't that the thing where they allowed people to like to accuse each other of rape or something? Is that the different thing? Is it Title something else? Is it Title 13 or something like that? I've never kept up with that stuff. I never went to a major college or anything, so I never really had to encounter it.
I thought that was a Canuckistan thing. Jordan Peterson's poem.
Prohibits sex-based discrimination in any school or other educational program that receives federal funding.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I misunderstood that. So I mean that is cool. I mean like I said, I never went to a major college. I only ever attended a community college for a little while, so I never encountered much of the campus sexism type stuff. And like my wife did. She went to UNLV. She got a degree there. But did you encounter much stuff from any of the Title IX stuff or anything like that? Or she doesn't know what I'm talking about, so she never. She was in an art school. She was studying theater. She didn't have to encounter that sort of stuff. So
Did they
Patty,
tell you what instrument to play? How do I address her?
What's that?
How do I address your wife? What do I call her?
Oh, Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
Did they tell you what instrument to play because of your sex?
He asked if they asked you what instrument to play, but she didn't play an instrument. She did marching band in high school, but she did not play music in college. She was in theater.
Oh, okay.
She was a lighting designer and an audio engineer. So.
Okay, I take that as a no.
Yeah, they didn't tell her what instrument to play. That's for sure. They didn't tell her what she had to do. She carved out her own little like sub what do you call it, subtitle in the degree. She was the first person to ever graduate with that double major in the arts department there. So that's pretty cool.
Wow, cool.
It was made when girls' sport was provided for at Manos was leaving high school. Okay. Yeah, I like I said, I'm sorry. I just don't know much about the title stuff in college and stuff because like I never went to one, so it never really. I just heard about it going passively in media and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean that's good. I'm glad that they have that equality there. I think that especially college, for college like for professional sports. Yeah, I don't understand like why that's all capitalism based, it's all market based. It just depends on what people want. But colleges, it should be equal like that. I agree. Anyway. Yeah, I really don't. I don't know. I mean, what else could we say about this whole thing that's happening to Satanic Temple? I mean, it's just.
It's an example of what's going on with wokeness, which I think on a deeper level is kind of this war between, like I said, archetypal female values and archetypal male values. And we see it in the political parties. The right is more traditionally masculine. The left is becoming woke feminism. Right. And that's probably been going on for the entire existence of human history. This kind of divide between male and female. I'm not talking about physical, but psychological or archetypal masculinity and femininity.
Yeah,
I mean, how do you integrate that into an egalitarian society? I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. It really requires balance, and like it's just not something people are very good at anymore. People really, I think they probably consider the concept of balance to be patriarchal, honestly. And like, of course, you'd want balance between the feminist and the masculine side. You're a patriarchal Nazi or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, if you don't support the extremist position they support, then you're, a fascist or whatever. So,
I think the right term is
misogynist. But I hear just as many people. I don't hear people call anybody misogynist anymore. Like I don't call them fascist or Nazi.
It's transphobe because feminism has been displaced by trans activism.
Oh,
so now the dirty word is transphobe.
Or racist if they're feeling, spicy that day.
Yeah, but racist is kind of on the way out too. Like
I agree.
If you can call someone a transphobe over a racist, it's going to carry much more weight.
I know. Power. I'm saying they just drop in racist as like a little sprinkle extra in there. It's not really the main course anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could be a sexist racist transphobe, but if they only have one, if they have to pick just one, transphobe. To pick
just one, transphobe's the one to go with. Yeah, it's the most damaging somehow, even though
because they're the current victor, like they're on the throne right now in the oppression Olympics.
Because all those transphobes
until another group comes, it's either going to be the MAPS. Or maybe the furries or the neo genders or something. Some group eventually is going to come along and displace the trans, and they're going to be the new oppressed group.
So how do we get on the ground floor of that?
I'm afraid it's going to be, minor attracted persons.
So that's what I'm worried about too. The MAPS, because that's what there's more of that coming out because it starts in academia, and there's more of that coming out of academia than there are furries. Or xeno pronouns or anything like that. MAPS have a legitimate body of academic writing supporting it, like studies showing that this is good for society.
But they're not finished yet. Wait till the bread's done. Come on.
You're saying let them cook?
Tell it to them. Talk to them.
You're telling like the MAPS to we should let them cook and let them figure out how they're going to attack the society next.
I mean, wait till humans ready to get ready to mature. The bread tastes better once you let it rise in the freaking oven.
Yeah, but nonetheless, that's what they're doing. They're trying. I mean, that's like when people centrists like me. I didn't really care much about the trans thing. Doesn't even bother me until it involves children. That's the main thing. I mean, it annoys me. It's annoying in society when you get constantly told like what you have to or how to act, even whenever you don't realize you're doing anything. that's offending anybody, but then they're told you're offensive and stuff like that. I mean, all that stuff is very annoying, and it definitely is threatening to some degree, but it's really the children thing that most of anybody that really cares about those issues, that's the main thing they care about. And like, they're all afraid of that specific thing happening, which they are pushing. And of course, right now they're in the stage where if anyone gets asked about it on the leftist side, they say it's not happening. And the next thing you know, it's going to be like, it's happening, but it's not that much of it. And it's happening, but it's happening just a little bit, and you shouldn't worry about it. And then it's happening. It's a good thing. So, like, that's how they move it. Move the Overton window. Yeah, they move that Overton window just a little bit every time, which is why I do think that even though I don't agree with people in the extreme right most of the time, I do think that their influence in society is ultimately a positive, because without them pulling back against the leftist side, pulling that Overton window over, the window is going to get moved over that much faster. I think if it not for extreme right kind of people, like, even I don't think Matt Walsh is that extreme, really, honestly, but
He's not.
but people like him and more extreme, without those people that are practically fascists pulling back, without them existing as an actual boogeyman on this one side, but that they take up like bandwidth that is needed to be taken up. So like the left has to fight them too. If the left doesn't have those extreme people on the right to fight, they can focus all of their energy on just shifting that cultural window over. I know it sounds like a weird strategic way of thinking about it, but I mean, I think it's true. I think we need those people that are practically Nazis over there to be targets for the left side, so that takes up some of that energy. It's kind of like what you see with you're seeing people do scam baiting.
Yes. I love them.
And like they get on and they just take up the scammers' time. They know they're not actually stopping anything. They're not getting them in jail, but they'll just waste their time.
Well, that's not true, because scammer payback gets them in jail pretty often.
Yeah, some of them.
They make them lose bank accounts. A whole bunch of make them lose bank accounts.
Yeah, a lot of those guys
make them lose track their Bitcoin addresses with Kraken.
Yeah, Kent Boega and stuff has really moved into like that more attack form. But for the longest time, a lot of his stuff that he did was just taking up the scammers' time, and I think
it caused a lot of damage.
Yeah, so I see a value in, even though I vehemently disagree with them, and I actually find them to be somewhat repulsive myself. But those extreme right people, they do take up a certain amount of bandwidth and time from the extreme left that they feel like they have to fight against. So it keeps them from getting as much power ultimately. And, so it's like, there's no absence of mints on the right either. It looks different.
Nonsense.
Oh,
so what are they going to do once we point to the couple Nazi maps that exist? What are they going to do? That's what I'm curious about.
Well, the problem comes in when you have your far right. You have the Nick Fuentes, Groypers far right, but then every single person not on the left gets paint. The target gets spread to every single person that's not in their little minority fringe in group.
I mean, like, my instinct is always like, I don't like those people. I don't want them around me either. But I'm just saying, if I look at it as objectively as possible, I can see how they provide some degree of cultural value in the sense that they push and pull back so far. But yeah, I mean, I do agree that they do end up getting everyone painted that way. But then again, the things that happens to the left, there's plenty of reasonable people on the left that get painted with the extremist label because of the extreme trans activists and the people pushing for maps and stuff like that. So,
but here's my thing with them: there's no vocal majority denouncing any of this. There are people on the right denouncing the racist and the xenophobes and the homophobes and all that. Rowan's one of the few people I know, and even sometimes he's a little ambivalent and ambiguous.
Yeah, I agree.
That will say that the extreme left is going too far, or I don't support those values. They have the center left captured, but the silence.
To be fair, I mean, well, there's like Bill Maher. There's a few other people.
Yeah,
that are in the mainstream
few. There are
but
a few.
they almost, universally end up abandoning the title of calling themselves left or center left, and end up joining the right, and that's the reason why a lot of it, just because everything moves so far that direction, like where the old meme with the line keeps moving back, and suddenly the people center left find themselves.
That's why they're so vocal. It's a vocal minority because they're not being drowned out by the moderate center, and that's what happened with the gay rights movement. We didn't let Queer Nation and ACT UP become the voice of the gay community. The people in the middle that were more moderate took the movement and became its face and voice. And the left is not currently doing that with their extremists.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just realized something too. I want to say we talked earlier about Wednesday with the True Detective thing. I very well may be able to make it for that, but just so you know, I may or may not. If you want to do an after show thing, I may or may not be able to do that.
Oh no, we can't do an after show that night because it's Survivor.
Okay.
We're just gonna. I'm mainly watching it because I have another friend overseas that's going to be watching it independently.
Okay,
we're going to be discussing it, so I need to
watch it. Just refresh yourself with it. Sounds good. I just realized that on the 4th, on Wednesday, I have a consultation about my teeth with a maxillofacial surgery department or something like that. So like they're probably going to pull my teeth and put implants in. I don't think that's going to happen on Wednesday, but like I don't know for sure. So if they decide to like do something, I won't be able to talk probably for a few days. So and I know you're gonna be out of town after that too. So like
Wednesday's my last time. In fact, I can't stream tomorrow at all. I work all day and then I have shit to do in the evening. But
me too. Split shift tomorrow for me.
I can stream possibly Wednesday afternoon for a bit, or maybe Wednesday late morning for a bit. But then that's going to be it until next week.
Yeah, it's not a big deal though, man. Well, it'll be okay. I mean, sometimes everybody needs a step away from stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with my teeth surgery thing, but I know that if that happens, I probably won't be speaking or having much. I won't be getting on camera much for a little bit. I don't know. It all depends. If they tell me they're not, the insurance won't cover the implants thing, then I'll just walk out. I mean, even though my teeth are fucked up and like I have 3 of them that are just broken, I'd rather have 3 broken teeth than have no teeth. So yeah.
Oh, I got a hack for you. Let me get it real quick.
I can't believe they're going to try to pull all your teeth at once. When I had braces, they had to pull some teeth, and they did it over several sessions. They'd pull like 1 or 2 at a time over 3 or 4 sessions.
Well, I don't know I figured if they're going to schedule me for a surgery, I figured it would be pretty fast. Yeah, what's up?
Not sponsored. I get
not sponsored
repair kits and just
what is it called?
In the weaker teeth. That way, these temporary fillings are not that temporary, anyways, and they're much cheaper than surgery. So I get
dental care kit, the official centrist dental floss. Is it floss?
No.
What all is in it?
So it has like glass powder, and it has a
glass powder.
It's silicone powder, really.
Oh, for like the enamel.
Yeah, and it has a bonding liquid, and you mix it in, and you pretty much replace the enamel with it.
That sounds scary, but I don't know if I could do that.
It's like if we can do Play-Doh, we can do this. And right now it's trending at $45 per pack.
Play-Doh?
Play-Doh or Play-Doh, whatever it's called.
It's like basically putting in like a epoxy on your teeth.
Exactly.
People put Play-Doh on their teeth?
No, I mean he's saying if you can do Play-Doh, you could do that. So he's saying it's like a clay type or a polymer. You put it on there and it would set and kind of repair your teeth somewhat. But see, like I already have 3 of my teeth have gotten broken from falling, and
it works on that.
The nausea and I couldn't replace the whole teeth like that. There's no way. But
you should
try. I wouldn't be able to shape them.
You make a big clump, put it in the hole, and just try it for a bit. It's not going to cost you $50 to try.
Yeah, well, I don't even have $50 right now. I mean, if the hospital insurance wasn't paying for this, I wouldn't be able to do that either. But thank you, though. I appreciate it. I'll look into it. I'll certainly look at it.
We'll talk offline. I have $50. If you're on the Discord, PM me. We could work something out.
Okay,
Use your white privilege. You're a straight white guy.
That's right. I keep forgetting. If as a straight white guy, if I just ask for anything, I'll get it. Right. Yeah. I always forget
at least
that.
Teeth.
Are you, Chris? You in Jeff's Discord?
Yeah, I'm in Jeff's Discord.
Are you in Satyrs Grove?
Yeah.
Okay. Find my name. I can work something out with you.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I was just saying I just don't know what they're gonna do. So I'm gonna find out on Wednesday, and we'll find out if they'll be. I mean, like I said, if they're gonna fully cover to do the dental surgery thing, then yeah, I'll just do that. But I'm terrified of dental surgery. I've never dealt with a dentist well. But as long as they'll numb me or put me under something,
do they knock you out, or is it just conscious sedation?
I have no idea, but I hope they'll just make me unconscious. I prefer.
They didn't put us out to pull our teeth, but they injected us with like a numbing, an anesthesia.
Novocaine, yeah,
we were completely awake. It was a wrench. They would like put the wrench in the mouth and twist and grab, and you could feel the teeth come out, but you couldn't feel any of it. You could just feel the pressure from the wrench, and you knew the teeth were being wrenched out.
The way that mine broke, they're broken high enough up here that I don't think they could wrench them out. They'll probably have to do like cut into the gum or something like that. I don't even know how it works, but I mean, who knows? I don't know anything about that shit, but all I know is that the constant nausea from the vertigo ate away at my tooth enamel and stuff. And that's what caused it. So I really hope that if they're going to do that they will address my vertigo first as well, because if I don't know. I guess maybe the implants won't be susceptible to that, but I'll still keep causing damage to the rest of my teeth from puking. So anyway, I'm still talking about this now.
Yeah, we want to keep the three viewers that we have.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. A crown, 3 crowns. Yeah, I know they might do a crown. They might. I don't know. It depends on how much damage the all that has done to the teeth and if they're solid or not. So anyway. Okay. Juniper's getting a little fussy. She needs a nap.
If they're being cheap, they'll probably just offer you a partial, but you want to go for an implant if you can.
Yeah, I know. That's what my mom said. She got crowns a while back, and they all fell out after like a year or so. She said, like, you know, if you get the option, you should just have them do the implant, just pull it all out and have them screw in new teeth, basically. Yeah, so yeah.
That's what I had this done with pair kit. My parents got the cheap like metallic films instead of the ceramic films, and some of them popped out. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare.
They should
for
just
me.
let the damn cavities in there.
I had really good teeth my whole life until the vertigo thing happened. So like it's been bizarre for me. Like I never had any tooth problems. I never had any tooth pain. Never had any cavities or anything. And then like whenever the vertigo started and I started throwing up so much, it created like my teeth look disgusting. They're horrible.
They look British.
They do. They look British. They do. I look like
no offense to any British viewers out that
absolutely
might be
not. But I mean, stereotypically British teeth. We all know what that looks like, and I'm sure there are plenty of British people out there with good teeth. But we all know what it looks like in a cartoon when someone's supposedly British. They smile. They always have like this, like, you know, like these teeth that are all facing the opposite directions and everything like that. So,
well, I'm Cajun. I can't really make fun of other people's teeth either. So.
I mean, I've never made fun of people's teeth. I'm just saying that's what the stereotypical thing is. I you know, it's just been a nightmare for me. It's certainly, I guess, humbling anyway. It's certainly, I don't think I was all that conceited before, but I certainly feel more humbled now. Oh yeah, Patty said she hadn't had any trouble with the crowns. Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, I don't know. My wife had one too, and it fell out as well. So I don't know. I think it just depends on how good the dentist is, probably. So.
Well, let us know.
I might just end up with dentures for all I know. So I might have like the whole thing. I mean, I say that like a joke, but it's very possible. Anyway,
Okay, we
Moving
found
on.
the punchline. When we found the punchline, like on Friday or so.
when I'm going to go for the consultations on Wednesday, yeah, they should tell me there what they plan to do. At least I hope so. I don't see how they would need like a couple of days to think about what they're going to do with my teeth. I figured I'm going to go in, they're going to look at my mouth and be like, okay, we're going to do this. So I don't really have a lot of choice in the matter. I mean, except I could refuse it, but it's not like I'm going to have a lot of choice because it's paid for by the hospital, which I have insurance through. So anyway, let's.
Did you ever hear back from the peer support people?
I have not. You know, when I was looking at that today, I was checking my email, seeing if there was anything in it from them, and I have not gotten anything back. So I will probably, when we're done here, I'll probably try to call that number that's on there and see if like I get any response. I called it the other day, but I think I called it too late too. I called it like later in the afternoon because it might be too late today too. I don't know. It's 2:30 now, so. But I'll call them in the morning or something. I'm going to try to find out something. I don't know. I kind of thought I would have heard something like early this morning. It seems like you usually get that kind of response anytime you fill out one of those forms. But then again, if this is actually government, then it kind of makes more sense. You know?
And it might take a while. I mean, it took me a long time to get in.
Yeah, I mean,
they work.
It'll take a long time. Period. I mean, even though if I get the financial aid or something to go for the programs or whatever, and then what it was like 240 hours of like of internship basically,
which is bullshit. But
it's not. I mean, that does sound like a really long time to do, but it may not take that long. I mean, 240 hours. If you do 8 hours a day for a while or something like that, that goes pretty fast actually. That's like
about 6 weeks. Yeah,
5-6 weeks. Yeah, it's
if
not
you
that
do 40
long.
hours a day.
You're doing work for 8 hours a day for free?
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be for free.
It may not be for free, but at the same time, I'm not doing anything right now, so I might as well use that in a way that's productive towards like some sort of goal. And I think I'd like to do peer counseling. So,
and they might have online options where you just do telephone support or online support.
That's what it said you could do. It said that they said they have those options on the site, so that's what I'm gonna ask about. So, as soon as they get back to me.
Oh, okay. I guess my package boy money has been going to my head then.
Your package boy money? What?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I work for a parcel shipper. So.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
In fact, they just raised the pay by like a quarter or so. They just started this week. So.
Okay. If is that something you do from home or something do you go out?
No, you can't move box. You can't move enough packages from your house. So
okay,
go to the warehouse.
No,
I worked through all COVID
logistics or something.
Yeah, logistics. I had to go to the warehouse for all of COVID. I couldn't lock down probably, so I must have been a super spreader. I mean, I even got my Jennison. I still got infected.
Damn. I worked for Amazon in the warehouses for 3 years, and then I did 3 years from home. So, I mean, yeah, I worked like 2 years, I guess. It was getting close to 6 years total, but I was past the 5-year mark. Anyway, yeah. Amazon has this bizarre thing that I almost did too, but then I ended up getting let go for other reasons. That because I was sick so much and I couldn't really do the job. But they have this really weird thing that if you work there for 5 years, you can. Well, I think you can do it before that, but if you work there for 5 years, you get the maximum. They have this thing called the offer at the beginning of every year, and any employee that wants to can take the offer, which is basically if you work for 5 years, they'll give you $5,000 to never work for Amazon again.
Why would he do that? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. I've never heard of anybody actually taking it. It's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen any company do. If you've been there for at least a year,
IBM, because they want to smoke heads quickly, but at Amazon, I don't understand it. Well, we
Yep.
should ask. We should ask someone about it and see what's.
Oh, we all asked about it back when I worked there. We were always curious. We were always trying to find out like what the purpose of it was. Tons of people were, but their
I'm looking at
response
it
was the
now.
same. Yeah, the same
It
corporate
came from
response.
Zappos originally.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think that they did say that. And it's just this weird thing that I think the idea is that
It's for retention. They want to keep the people who love being there,
right.
thinking
So
they'll
if you
perform
don't
better.
if you don't love being there, then they'll give you money, and then you're never allowed to work for Amazon again. You become unhireable.
It's a concept in behavioral economics called escalation of commitment.
It's just weird.
It,
But
The
I-
theory is that if you
shittier
turn
company.
down the 5,000, you're going to invest more into your work because you really want to be there.
Oh, okay, so they're doing something because some academic told them to.
Pretty much, yeah. I never heard of anybody taking it because it's really not that much money. I mean,
You make
even
more than that in a month for sure. So,
I'll take it
well,
right now to never
well, maybe
apply.
pretty close.
you don't make quite that much in a month. You make about, I think, now they have $15 minimum wage. When I was working there in the warehouses, we only made $11.25 or so, but then they boosted that all up. And I was making about 15 whenever I moved up in the company. I was like a tier 3 level employee for a while, which used to be something, but then they made everybody's minimum wage there $15 an hour and got rid of all of the benefits except for the health benefits, and which sucked. But anyway, but yeah, because it was about, I think at the time when I was in the warehouses, it was about 2.5 months wages you could get. So as one lump payment, if you had worked there for 5 years. If I think you only worked there for like after the first year, you can take it and you just get $1,000. Second year, 2,000, so on and so forth. And it doesn't go up any after 5 years. If you've been there after 5 years, then it's still, you can still take the offer anytime, but it's still always being $5,000. So anyway, it's just a weird thing. I just know that not a lot of people know about that. I just think it's interesting. Yeah, working at Amazon was interesting. Actually, there's a lot more. There's a lot more to that company than people realize. But like the whole peeing in bottles thing and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I'm not saying there's no drivers that did that, but in the warehouses or anything, like nobody did that shit. I mean, not commonly anyway. I worked in 6 different warehouses in this city alone, and I never saw any shit like that. I mean, like.
So
You could
what
go to the
happens
bathroom
if
when you wanted to.
So pretty much, big shipping companies have a lot of contractors, and maybe a contractor was really bad, and that's why someone peed in the ball because the contractor put too much pressure on him.
It's exactly what it was, yeah. But like that was where like all those stories came out, and that brought Bernie Sanders out to like start punching at Amazon, saying like you're not treating your workers well enough, blah 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 blah, millionaires and billionaires until
It wasn't really Amazon's fault. It's ABC no name company that made that happen. Not really.
I mean, don't be wrong. Amazon's an evil company. They are, just not for the reasons people think they are. It just wasn't that cut and dry. I mean, for the most part, I mean, I didn't have much complaints when it came to like the working conditions, except the fact that you're on your feet for 10 hours a night, and it's hot and everything else like that. But those are things you get with any warehouse. I mean, they definitely work you pretty hard, but the benefits were really good, and like the pay was competitive, and I never had any issues with going to the bathroom or anything like that. No, nobody ever stopped me. If I needed to go to the bathroom, I just went, and I never got in trouble for it. People that got in trouble for that kind of shit were people that were lazy and would hang out in the bathroom all night, or things like that, they were actually just not working. And so that's one of those things where like those quote unquote horror stories are usually just people that are just lazy and get pissed off. But I mean, there's plenty of other things that Amazon does that's actually evil. I mean, all their business practices are not very sustainable or good for the economy in general. But still, I mean, as a worker, I never had any complaints really for those kind of things. Not for working conditions. They wouldn't be any better if you worked in the warehouse for another company or anything else like that. I mean, try as they might, there's no warehouse out there that's going to have a perfectly cool At least now it's a big warehouse. I mean, like trying to cool a space like that's really ridiculous. We had these giant ass fans that were like, literally the company is called Big Ass Fans. That's like the actual company name. They put these in there. They make big ass fans. Yeah, yeah. They had these big ass fan things in there. They had these big swamp cooler things pumping cold air into the building all the time. It was still hot as hell, but I mean, you know, they did what they could. It wasn't like it for lack of trying.
So pretty much, if you learn how to do that yoga fire breath, it really doesn't matter what temperature the building is, as long as it's over freezing.
Yeah.
And if you're good at it, you could go under freezing and still wear short sleeves.
I suppose, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly isn't. It's not the easiest job in the world, but it's not that bad. Anyway,
What's the easiest job in the world?
I don't know. I've never worked one, but I did movie theater stuff for a long time. I've worked in movie theaters for a long time. I was a movie theater manager for many years for different movie theaters. So.
I was an employee for a summer. Concessions and ticket to, you know, the basic front house stuff.
Being a projectionist is my favorite, you know, just for money job ever. It's nothing I'd ever want to do as a career or something that I would want to be based, but being a projectionist, I loved it. I loved running the booth area up there, and like I love threading the projectors and stuff like that. I just loved everything about it. But I mean, you can't do it anymore. They don't have projectors that use film any longer. It's all digital. So
I think the easiest job in the world is a grocery store bagger.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's it. I think it is.
I don't see those anymore. I haven't seen a grocery store bagger in the longest time. They still have those places?
Yeah, they bag over here or at my
Really?
grocery store.
Yeah, they don't.
Sometimes when they have a
stores down
bagger.
here. Even like the
Sometimes
really
the
nice.
cashier will do it themselves, but sometimes they have an actual bagger.
The cashiers will usually do it themselves, but like even at the really super nice supermarkets they have here, like Central Market and stuff like that, they're like these like IKEA like grocery stores. Even those places, the cashiers bag, or you go to self checkout and bag it yourself. So
I usually go to self anyway. But
me too.
Yeah,
I don't like bothering the cashiers if I don't have to. You know,
it's just if the line is short, I'll do it. But
Or I don't have a lot of stuff.
yeah.
it's easy for me to do self.
Sometimes I go through if the vertigo's hitting really bad, I'll go through the cashier line just because I don't fall over or something like that. But I've always preferred going self checkout ever since they brought that out back in the 90s. Like it's always been my preference. I don't know. I guess that's the introvert in me, like, you know, not wanting to have to interact with people if I don't have to, kind of thing. I don't know. It feels less socially awkward somehow.
Oh,
I was looking. See, like, there's some weird things on like the Microsoft start menu here has some really weird little headlines on here. One of them was. White people claiming to be victims of racism makes me sick. Government urges colleges to ramp up diversity efforts.
this is like on your computer on Windows.
Yeah, I opened up a new tab a second ago and it opened up like all these like news things. It's like a start page type thing, and it's something from some website called Man and Home.
Is it Pocket
How
or
is that not
MSN? One of those, Pocket or MSN.
It's MSN.
Okay.
I can't find the actual article though. I was going to link to it and see if we can take a look at it, but I can't find the actual article. I see the headline and I see a little blurb from it, but there's no link to click on to actually see the article. I don't know how.
So they don't. You can't even delve deeper if you wanted. They just want the headline that white people are racist.
Well, I mean, I think it's from I mean, I'm guessing from the name of the website or whatever, Man and Home. I'm guessing that it's probably criticizing it, and it seems to be the paragraph seems like it's being kind of like criticizing that, but I can't find a link to see the article. It's just there's just like this picture of like this angry screaming woman, and then like the headline, and then nothing else. Like I can't figure out like where I'm supposed to like read this article at. It's bizarre. There's not even like a thing that says like keep reading or something like that. Nothing. It's just this. Maybe I'll try to like search the headline and see if it comes up on Google. Let's see here.
Oh, I want to see this one on Twitter. In the meantime, this video
Okay.
just came out. I don't know what it's about. It's something race related.
And I found another article that posted in the internal chat. The Microsoft CEO Sadine Satya Nadella says Google's cheating at the search.
First off, that's hella ignorant and stereotypical.
Well, wait, what was she offended
And this is
over?
what pisses me off about people. How are you going to stereotype a whole entire race?
It's pretty easy, actually. You
I don't get
put
any
the
of
average
this.
of
What-
behavior.
Oh, white people chilling in their house, black people chilling in their house.
I don't know why, but I am offended.
I don't know.
First
I don't
off,
even
that's
know what
hella ignorant and stereotypical.
And this is what pisses me off about people. How are you going to stereotype
I don't
a
understand
whole
this,
entire race?
any of this video.
It's the thing about how they say that it's racist to point out that black people don't change out the batteries in their smoke detectors or something. It's weird to me. Like I know I've let
I
my
didn't
smoke
even know.
detector go like for a while myself. I don't think.
How
it's
do
a
you
racist
not
thing.
change your battery? Doesn't it beep until you change your battery?
Yeah.
Let it beep?
The ones I have in my house beep very, very rarely. So a lot of times I would hear it once and be like, "Oh, I need to do that," but I get distracted and go and do something else. But like those are like beeping constantly. So I that would drive me crazy enough where I'd change it. But yeah, I don't know.
I've never been in any black person's house where the smoke alarm was beeping.
I've
Me
never had
neither.
either.
Well, I've been in my house, but you just went ahead and changed
You
the
change your
batteries.
batteries?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
So technically, I've been in a black person's house when they didn't change the batteries till they changed the batteries because I did it.
So do they just let their smoke alarm beep, or do they just take it off the wall?
Oh, I just changed the batteries. I take
Yeah,
off the wall.
So you were in
change the battery
someone's
off the
house
wall.
and their alarm was just going off
It
constantly.
was my
'cause
house. It was my house. The battery went bad, so I went ahead and changed it.
Yeah, that's what most people would do. Yeah. Like I said, I
Yeah.
had one in this place I'm living right now that I let go for a while just because the fact that it didn't beep constantly. It beeped like once, and there's only one downstairs, so I'm not downstairs very often. It would beep like once, like every hour. And so
Ours
like
would
I
screech.
didn't. Yeah, like I had some in the past that would screech and beep constantly, and so it would be really annoying.
Until you
but
changed it.
Yeah. But that's the only time I've ever let one go was with the one downstairs because I didn't hear it very often. It wasn't very loud either. It was a very slight chirp. It was very soft, so it wasn't even that all that annoying. The ones in that video, damn, those would drive me crazy. Just that one piercing chirp would be all it would take for me. And just as
This
a go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying that I looked up that website, Man and Home, and tried to find this article. It's not even on the website. The picture they used for that article is on a different article entirely. I don't think that article exists on the site. It's just MSN making shit up.
Well, the one that Hank posted in chat, I don't know if it's related, but it's
No,
the
I don't know.
Microsoft CEO saying that Google got its dominance because of unfair practice. So it seemed like it's them just taking a shot at their competition. By
Yeah,
maybe trying to use racism. Is it related to racism? No, it's not even.
Well,
What
it
is
does
this?
a minority, so it's racist now. He's the CEO of Microsoft is Indian, therefore it's racist.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, of course it is, right? Because like everyone knows that he's Indian. Like I had no idea.
But isn't
Like,
Google, weren't they Indian too? The Google.
Yeah,
people?
one of the people that founded it was Indian. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not in charge
It's so
now.
stupid.
Yeah.
Alphabet.
I don't agree with the whole white people are awful. It's a forced teaming. Yeah.
Wait, no,
Oh,
it-
like,
no, it's not racist anymore because he's Indian too.
You're lumping all white people together, like
Yeah,
even
the Alphabet CEO is
It-
also Indian, therefore it's not racist.
the
It's just
Irish, the
patriarchy.
Italians, people like me, the Cajuns that were all historically oppressed are somehow now part of the oppressive class. The Jews are white too now. It's even Asians are white.
Yeah, so it's not racist. The Alphabet CEO is also Indian, therefore it's just patriarchy because they're both men.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's so fucking boring. I just want to.
It is, it really is.
Take a nap. It just makes my brain glaze over.
It
I
really
can't
does,
believe
man.
people spend even 2 brain cells on this stuff.
It's easy. It's
I feel like-
normal conspiracy theory thinking. I mean, if you listen to Alex Jones for like an hour, you can do it.
Well, there you go. I don't. It explains it.
I've listened to Alex Jones for many hours, and I
don't think
still
I've
that
seen
way.
2 minutes of Alex Jones in my entire life.
Well, you should check it out. He's very entertaining.
I watched
He really
Waking
is.
Life. He was the guy in Waking Life. That's
Yeah,
the
you've
most
seen that.
Alex Jones I have ever seen in my life.
Well, he's extremely entertaining. I think everyone should watch Alex Jones just because he's.
I don't
extremely
like
entertaining.
that ranty performative type of. It's like WWE wrestling type entertainment.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and I don't like it all the time, but like
I don't even like it when Jordan Peterson does it.
He's gone on some rants that I thought were just funny, though. I think he knows they're funny too, but I mean, not all the time. I mean, listening to the radio show that he does, that's a bit much. Like it gets a little hard to deal with when it's like an extended period of time. Just listening to a clip is not so bad. I was just looking at, there's some other bizarre headlines here that I think are worth mentioning. Here's one that says the Southern accent is disappearing because Generation Xers talk so differently than their baby boomers parents, scientists say.
It's true. My nieces and nephews don't even have as thick of an accent as we did growing up.
I guess so. I mean, I don't have one much myself, so
Because they get their models from TV and not from their immediate environment. They're immersed so much in media. Even our family, my grandparents had a much thicker accent than my mom did, and we had even less thick because we didn't talk like the people around we went to school with. We talked like the people we saw on TV.
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely, that's definitely what kind of influenced me. I certainly didn't get I kind of intentionally rebelled against it somewhat. I mean, I wasn't like that conscious. I just hated the Southern accent thing. But I still see tons of people and kids, and even people in my own family that still have Southern accents these days. So I don't know. I haven't.
Plus, it's
seen
considered redneck, and people are trying to distance themselves from anything. And rednecks are right wing; they're the ignorant right wing Republicans. So people are trying to distance themselves from anything on the right.
Yeah, that's true. I guess. I mean, it had nothing to do with political ideology. I tried to separate myself from rednecks because they were mostly not very smart, and they kind of annoyed me. But you know,
They're
the
smarter
last
than
cool thing they did was Dukes of Hazzard, so they haven't done anything that cool in a while. So that's,
I remember
that's
some of it's a class thing too. I remember even at the gifted school, one of our counselors attacked me one day for he called me a backwater country bumpkin or something and attacked me for my rural ways of speaking.
yeah, I think that's ridiculous. I mean, I don't. You don't have much of an accent though. I don't hear it that much. I mean, I hear a little
up here.
bit.
I
of Cajun
do.
accent.
Like
right.
it's relative to
That's
people
true.
around you. But back
just
home, no, I didn't talk Southern enough. I was like the nerdy liberal.
Yeah, I know. That's what I got that a lot too growing up. Got people that were kind of discriminated against me a little bit because I didn't have much of an accent. They thought I was an elitist or something like that. But I guess I kind of was. So I didn't really, I didn't try to be part of that kind of part of Southern culture, I suppose, growing up. I don't mind it now, but I definitely disliked it as a teenager.
The famous Southern drawl is set to become extinct because Gen Xers from the deep South. Gen Xers?
Yeah, it's
mine is
That was
Cajun
your
anyway.
fault.
It's like a
This is your
Cajun
fault,
Southern
Jeff.
mix. Huh?
This is your fault, Jeff.
It's not my fault. Like, you hear my accent. I'm not trying to hide it from anybody. I have like a Cajun Southern twang combination with some African American ebonics mixed in.
Here's a really hilarious headline I think that you should check out. Did you see it?
Wait, it was the superintendent. So anyway, somebody's was shitting at the school.
Yeah. They called it the mysterious
for
pooper.
Defecating outside her morning jog on neighbors' yards. So this was a human that was shitting on people's yards.
Yeah. It's a superintendent of high school.
This Colorado
Thanks,
Springs. It's also been reported that the entire city of San Francisco has a public poop problem that has so if I lose my stream over this, that has become so out of hand that a poop map was created to warn residents which areas to avoid.
Yeah.
It's called serial pooping.
Yeah.
What kind of what psychology do you have to have going on in your head?
He was apparently defecating on the not just there, but also on the
And it
track.
turned out
of
to
the-
be the superintendent of the school.
The
I'd be so
trans dog.
embarrassed.
The trans dog. There you go. That was easy.
He was
Okay,
defecating on
this
the
is what our
track,
show
on the-
has
on the-
turned
on
into.
the
Hey,
track.
Adaptable, welcome to the Weekly World News.
And that's why we have
edition.
laws against leaving the waste. So they legally have to pick it back up. At least in my parts.
How can you even do that in public and not get caught? Like even trying to pee behind a bush is
That's exactly
risky.
what I was thinking. I was like, that just all the risk involved and everything else like that. Just so, I mean, I just don't even understand. I don't think I could even do that. Even if I had some reason to want to, I don't think I would be able to defecate on the
Y'all are
high school
nasty.
track. What, me?
See,
I'm saying I
anarchists and
couldn't do it.
libertarians, that's why we have laws to make sure people clean up after themselves.
I'm saying I
Hey,
think it's disgusting. I
yeah.
just can't understand how this happens. Like, how this is a thing. How is this a thing in the news right now that there's somebody who's a serial pooping? I just don't even.
I
This is why
just
don't look
told
at
you
the
they're
news.
trans dog.
I'm not going to complain about Twitter anymore because it seems like the mainstream news sites are even
or even worse. Yeah.
My only complaint about Twitter is that it's boring lately, but this definitely doesn't
X.
qualify as boring, but I would take
X
boring over.
now.
Yeah.
That's what Elon calls it. X.
I mean, most of MSN seems to be just like, I don't even know if most of these articles are real. That one article, the headline wasn't even a real one. Here's another one where it says a fourth grader self-identifies as genderqueer lesbian. But once
This is
again,
like
there's no
Inquirer
article.
level news.
Yeah. It really is.
And this is
The-
mainstream media?
This is the MSN start page. Yep.
Thanks,
So people
Microsoft.
that pull up their windows every morning, these are the headlines they're getting.
It's the headlines you see. Yep. And I just started using Edge recently just because it was the one most stable with StreamYard. So I haven't seen this. It doesn't happen on Chrome.
Don't
I
tell
use
me.
Chromium.
Don't share
Okay,
this
I
anymore.
won't say it anymore. I thought it was worth mentioning. I just thought,
It's not.
okay.
Like I was telling Machine of having certain standards for its quality control for
Well, yeah. I mean,
content.
I thought it was. I was pointing it out because it was ridiculous, not because I think it's good. I think it's bad, but it was so weird. Yeah. I just thought, I thought maybe I'd find something interesting there, something worth discussing, but it's just a bunch of trash articles. Not even articles; they're just literally
Headlines. Headlines.
just
should not
headlines,
exist
and
in
you can't
articles.
find the articles. So it's just like creating a bunch of animosity or creating the appearance of things being a certain way, but there really isn't anything there. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like here's another headline for an article that's BS. Donald Trump Jr. announced his father's death, shares inflammatory remarks about Epstein and North Korea. More fake
Yeah,
news in recent.
sounds like Inquirer level shit. This
Yeah.
is
His father's
MSN
not
is
dead. He's just in trouble.
Yeah, you can't.
BS.
You literally anything that's mainstream.
my
news
brain
related
is shutting down. It really is. The level of discourse is I can't I have a floor that I can't process below, and this has reached it.
So Microsoft, shame on you for sharing this fake news. Shame on you, Microsoft.
I don't. I mean, MSN.com. I think at one point was actually kind of a fairly respected news source. I mean, the MSNBC. That's what MSNBC is. It's literally Microsoft and NBC. That's where and MSN is the the website equivalent of that. So this is what MSNBC is pushing, more or less, probably on the channel too. Even though I haven't watched cable news in forever, but
I have ad block. I use DuckDuckGo. I hardly ever see it. So if this is what the average computer user that just pulls up their computer every day is seeing, I'm so worried about the future.
That's
Yes,
mainly
that's what
mainly
they
the reason
see.
I mentioned it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also a ad block. This is what normal people see when they pull up a web browser. This is, Microsoft, shame on you. This is stupid.
Yeah, that's the only reason I saw it is because, like I said, I switched over to Edge just because it's included in Windows and it happened to work better with StreamYard. But and
brain
anything
that.
on here that isn't like a bunch of like tabloid article stuff is advertisements. So it's like literally just advertisements from, they're just like images of products from different websites. It doesn't even say what they are, how much they are, or anything. It's just like look at these things. It's really weird. I haven't seen one of these pages in a long time, so I occasionally see like the Google News feed on my phone, but it's actually fairly, it's fairly in line with things I'm interested in. Usually, it's usually not like just a bunch of random bullshit like this. So I closed it.
I don't see any of that. Like, I don't pay attention to the Twitter trending. My YouTube, I just get my subscriptions. Every now and then, like on the side of a video, they'll show suggested videos. I hardly pay attention to them.
I usually browse YouTube on my television, so I the first thing you see when you do that is you have the recommended tab, and it's mostly your subscriptions with some other things, but it's actually recommended me some channels and some videos that I was actually really happy with. And not all the time. Sometimes it gives me really weird recommendations. I'm just like, why would you show me that? But for the most part, like and I discovered Paul's channel that way. I wouldn't, if not for those recommended videos, I wouldn't even be here. So, it's actually been useful. Google's algorithm is actually much more, I don't know, sensical, but I guess I don't really use Edge. So since I don't search with Microsoft search thing, I guess it doesn't have any history for me, or I don't use Bing or whatever. Although I will say that Bing's like built-in video search works really well. It'll embed the video from the website, they have to go there and everything. You can watch a whole movie right from the Bing search thing. That's pretty cool. Other than that, like I've never really used it for anything, so it doesn't have any algorithmic history to base recommendations on, I suppose. But yeah, like I found tons of great stuff through for Google's like YouTube recommendations. Like I said, occasionally something weird, but for the most part, I get a pretty good balance of everything that I generally look for. So everything from like videos for my daughter to channels like even this one, which I didn't find this because Google, the Google recommending it. I bet it because I met you in Paul's chat. Same thing. Yeah. Unblock Origin has been failing me lately. I might need to figure it out. It makes videos free sometimes. SmartTube is a great app for Android. I've never heard of uBlock Origin. Is that what does
I
it
use
do?
it. Yeah, I use uBlock Origin.
What does it do? Is it just
It
ad
blocks
block?
ads.
Okay.
And it works on YouTube ads.
I think I've had the same ad block thing installed for 15 years. I haven't changed it at all.
Yeah,
It
like
usually
AdBlock
works fine.
Plus or something.
Yeah, just
I
AdBlock
think that's
Plus,
what
yeah.
I have too. I
Yeah,
never
I've
see
used it.
ads on YouTube. I can't believe people watch ads on YouTube. I can't believe there's even an advertising industry on YouTube because I never see them.
It's such a product placement.
They can disable your ability to watch videos on YouTube if you use an ad.
Oh, I mean, I
blocker.
see ads
Well,
all
we
the
can,
time.
then we use a VPN.
Yeah, I
then
watch
they don't know
every
where
day. I
you're
watch
here.
the YouTube ad. They're wonderful. Keep them coming.
Yeah. So, yeah, they can do that, but then we use a VPN to probably from screen. Then they can't do it or they break the law. So your move, Google.
YouTube's been cracking down on that. Don't tell me that.
They have been.
Nothing's
It's-
gonna make
they've
me
been
stop using YouTube faster than if I have to sit through those dumbass ads.
they've been
Even as a kid, I hated that. I would mute the TV when the ads come on, so I didn't have to even listen to them.
Yeah, don't do anything, YouTube. Jeff and I super chat all the time, so you're gonna lose money if you just force ads in front of us. So we're persistent super chatters. Don't mess with our YouTube experience. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you are listening, promote our show. Tweet, get our show out there in the algorithm. so we can bring some more of this wonderful pro YouTube content to viewers everywhere.
Yeah, people begin the warning
Warning
pop up. I
pop-up.
saw that the other day.
I've
YouTube,
never
he
had
says-
that. Now y'all have me paranoid.
Well, it's been something they've been testing. They've been testing it like a pilot programs because they're trying to get
Test
people
it
to
on
sign up
me.
for YouTube Premium. I've actually had YouTube Premium for a long time. I think it's like $8. Well, I don't
Yeah,
have
I
anymore,
have
but
YouTube Music. It comes with that.
Yeah. That's the reason I use it is for YouTube Music because you can't on the app on the phone. I wouldn't be able to use an ad blocker on that, and I use that usually. It used to be when I was driving around or whatever. I used to be what my main music thing was. I don't use it right now because I don't have any money, but I used to use YouTube Premium all the time, and like so I never saw ads anyway from that. But I didn't really have it for getting rid of ads. I got it for the YouTube Music thing. So I mean, before it was YouTube Music, I had Google Play Music or whatever because I always thought it was the best music service for that sort of thing. It was just easier.
I
than trying to
wonder what.
load.
Well, Google Music was. The YouTube Music fucked it up.
Yeah, YouTube Music isn't as
when they
good, but
switched over.
but it's still fine. I still use it just fine. I found all the stuff I had from Google Play Music, all the subscriptions and like library stuff I had, it all imported in pretty well. As long as I go through there and try to and set up my playlist, it works fine. It's not as good as it used to be. That's true. But like I said, I don't use it. I don't really use it anymore because I don't have money for it. But I had it for a long time though. I had it for years.
I wonder if they're showing ads on on the stream. Like I wonder what type of ads do they correlate the ads with the content of whatever video they're or this is just random?
Yes, yes, they do.
At the moment, I think they're planning to change it, but from my understanding is you've seen ads on this stream before, Hank?
Oh, of course not. But
Okay.
but
good.
in other people,
I'm
other
just-
people's commenting that the ads do correlate. Like
If you're not
well,
monetized,
I'm
yeah,
wondering
yeah.
what ads I'm being associated with if they are putting ads, because I have no
I-
control over that, right?
But
They could be
yeah,
advertising
it's-
something that
it's based on your cookies. It's based on your cookies. They're correlated, but they usually don't sell me anything I want. So I block the ads because they're wasting my time.
Let's
I
say
don't
like
wanna
I can sign out of YouTube on here. I open up the tab for YouTube from Edge here since
and
it's
see if
not,
there's an ad.
and
I'd rather them
see if
just
there's an ad.
pay me to do like a product placement than randomly put ads on my stream
Yeah, me too.
and let the content creator promote the stuff that they feel good about promoting.
But see, but then YouTube doesn't make money off of it, so that's the whole reason they do it.
They will give
let
you
me
a
see here.
cut, whatever. Whatever.
They have enough money.
That's true. They do have enough money.
If I'm playing it right now without with it muted, and I'm just checking here, no ad comes up when you start playing it. No ad is, and this is completely
Okay,
signed
I also
out,
don't have it
so-
set to monetize, so maybe you have to
Exactly.
be monetized.
They supposedly were changing it sometime. I think beginning of next year. It's supposed to change where they're going to start putting ads on non-monetized content. But at the moment, to my knowledge, it's still not. They still don't put ads on non-monetized content. Whenever they announce that, they got a lot of pushbacks. They might end up reversing it, but I don't know. It's kind of like up in the air though. But
I don't
yeah,
have the viewers to get monetized yet, and you have to sign some agreement to like not curse and behave yourself, and I don't trust myself to do that, much less my
definitely.
guests.
Definitely. Yeah, you got to get it higher than that threshold to start getting like the sponsorship stuff. But I mean, I
No,
bet
I
if,
mean,
you
the
know,
Amazing Atheist got monetized, and he was all profane all the time. So
That's
Well,
true.
I'm just telling you what I read on their site.
well, they have changed the monetization rules a lot, and a lot of people that had monetization before a lot of these rules went into effect, I think they're kind of grandfathered in. Plus, they're kind of famous, especially from the left too. If you're a leftist, you're going to get away with a lot more stuff. But I think like, you know, if you could get like, if you got like, you know, a few thousand subscribers, something like that, you could probably go out and find sponsors. Probably not too.
I hate that. I
filming.
hate when my favorite YouTubers do sponsors.
Start doing sponsors. Yeah,
I hate that.
I don't mind
need to
it.
be monetized. I don't care about that anyway.
Yeah, I don't really care either. I wouldn't mind it so much as long
you don't
as
want to
I could
promote
run.
Raid Shower Legends?
See, I wouldn't have a problem with it as long as I could do it as like a commercial that was separate from my personality. I absolutely hate it whenever YouTubers like take on they have to do it like that old school radio voice where like they're personally endorsing the thing, because
Yeah.
they don't, they're not playing for Raid Shadow
I'd be
Legends. It's
horrible
not,
at product placement.
yeah.
I really would.
If
I'm
I
not
could
a
just run it as a
salesperson.
commercial and a separate voice from my own, and it's just like as a commercial, it has nothing to do with me as a personality. That doesn't bother me because commercials are commercials. Commercials on television have been like that forever. But if I have to like be like I'm personally endorsing Raid Shadow Legends, yeah, fuck that. I can't do it. I'll just not make money. I'll just not have money. It's okay. I don't know. I guess it depends on how desperate you get and how much the money pays, though, right? Like, if you're like looking at homelessness or something, and
I don't know.
and
I've
Raid
never
Shadow
been desperate enough where I'll do anything for money. I've just never
I
reached that level of
do
desperation.
anything for money. No, I'm not going to go out and like prostitute myself or anything. But
Well, that's
prostituting
kind
myself
of in a way-
philosophically as an advertiser, maybe I would. I don't know. I've never been in that I've never been in that situation, so I can't really judge how I'd react.
I have my pride and dignity.
I make your offers. I can negotiate. Make your offers, people.
I don't have pride or dignity left, so I don't know that
I
I
have
do.
way too
I have-
much of it.
I have
pride, at
principles.
least.
I have principles I stand with, but I don't.
I
Really
have
much,
pride in the quality of my work.
pride.
So make your offers.
Oh, there you go. Anyway, you all right, Jeff? You look a little annoyed right now.
Yeah,
Just
no,
like-
I'm thinking about getting a nap before the men's group tonight.
Yeah,
I
let's do
think
it's
all
nap
that,
time.
all that, like,
all the
you know,
MSN stuff just rotted our brains,
it
right?
really,
Yeah,
it really like
Uh,
burned my brain out.
it
Yeah,
kind of
that's it.
black pilled me a little bit too.
So
Actually.
imagine what it's doing to every
Yeah, a
like
lot.
the ordinary people out there.
Yeah, let's
That's
end the
real.
show for nap time. I agree with that, Jeff.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
that
I'll
sounds
be
good to me.
at the men's group in about 3 hours, 6 p.m. Central. If you want to stop by, email me.
Yeah.
We're
Drop the
doing
drop
detective.
the link in Discord to me on Discord. I'll try to show if
All right, I'll put it in pause.
All right. I've got to go out and run an errand real fast anyway. So I'll see you guys later.
Okay, nice talking.
Been good talking.
I'm not streaming tomorrow, but I'll do it sometime on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll talk on Wednesday, and we'll do the True Detective thing. So I'll let you know how.
What time
My
is your
favorite.
appointment?
It's at noon, but I don't know. I'm guessing it's just a consultation, so it's not really going to be.
So you
I
won't
don't
be
really
around
do anything.
Wednesday anyway.
I should be able to go in and get out pretty fast. Usually with this sort of thing, consultations haven't taken like long with them. Doctor's appointments have, but we're going to the ER has, but I have an appointment, so it should be all right. But if you stream around 2 or 3, I'll probably be there.
I
If
won't be.
not, then
It'll have to be. It's
earlier.
going to be about. It's either late morning or early afternoon.
All right.
Right
Well, I
around
might
that
not. I might not make that one, but otherwise, I'll talk to you when you do True Detective. So.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
man. Peace out,
So-
everybody. Bye.
Take care.
Nap time.
Nap time. Okay, thanks for watching. We're all going to take naps. Those headlines burnt. Oh my God. My whole mood changed when they started shooting all that at me. It's just crap. It's like crap for the brain. And I need to go recharge for my men's group. So I will. Bye, Patty. Adaptable. Good seeing everybody. I'll be back sometime on Wednesday. And have a good rest of your week. And thanks for watching. See you later. Oh, I'm going to play us out. Just pick something. This is one of Chris's songs. Ooh, that makes me feel better already. Music therapy. Okay, bye. Take care. Ooh, I like this. Chris did this too. Good.